Hi guys, welcome back to Infinite Possibilities, the podcast where we explore the lives of amazing people, their choices, challenges and opportunities. And today I have a very special guest, Paul Li.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Paul, what's your job? What do you do?
I'm a manager at KPMG in the financial modeling team. So I build a lot of financial models for investors or different companies where they want to look at their operations, their revenue, costs, sales, etc. Yeah.
Wow,
So investment models and like operation management models.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So we really want to know how Paul became so cool. So we're going to go right from the beginning. So Paul, what kind of child were you like growing up?
From a look of it, I'm from Asia, right?
Yeah, very nice.
Most of the Asia family, they have like tiger mom.
Yeah, oh, you have a tiger mom?
Yeah, I do, right? So my childhood is about studying. This is kind of like extra curriculum even before you get to school,
Yeah.
even before you have curriculum.
Wow, so you started like, your mom got you early, like in prep, you mean?
Yeah.
Wow, that really is tiger mom.
Yeah, I remember it's only age of 4 she already started to push me to learn some maps kind of things like.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. You have a recollection.
Not awesome. It's quite boring, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, in childhood. But I reconcile a lot of kids in Asian countries like kind of similar.
Yeah.
Like people in Hong Kong, in China, in Malaysia, right? When they're 4 to 5, the parents expect them to, start pretty early.
Yeah. Wow. And so, did you play piano?
No violin, no piano.
No music.
No.
Wow. So pretty much your mom's extracurricular was just like extra study, just studying like geography, studying history, that kind.
It started with mathematics, and there's some like painting.
Oh,
yeah, kind of
so
weird.
Paul can paint.
No, I can't. She gives up after like 1 year.
Yeah.
And then she tried to start some like English class like for those like really early stage students.
Wow.
Like the kids. Yeah.
Smart kid.
Yeah, that's not much like not as fun as like most of the people. Yeah, who lives in a Western country, I guess.
Yeah, so what was your sort of approach when you're getting to do a bunch of extracurricular? Were you like, woohoo, this is so exciting, I'm learning stuff? Or you're like, Mom, can I have some free time?
When you're young, you don't really have a choice. It's like your parents give you some things, right? You just do it straight away. Well, sometimes you complain, right? You want to have some other stuff, but most of the time you just follow. You don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
How old can you write your name?
How do I write
my name? How old do you learn how to write your name?
Oh, like my English name or my Chinese name?
English name.
English name.
Because there's only 26 alphabets in English, right? Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't know. I remember my mom, she got me to start, she didn't get me to start piano. I wanted to also do piano, but that was only grade 4. So you started when you were 4, I just start when I'm grade 4. So I think there's a big difference. So I don't have much memory before 6.
Right.
I only have my memory like in primary school and onwards. So I'm pretty sure I didn't really do any extracurricular activity that young. So yeah. And then so how did you sort of fit in the school environment? So were you very academic when you were young? Were you like really good at maths, like the Asian stereotype?
I think the Asian schools are quite different from the Western one. Yeah. People are expected to work hard, only focus on academics.
Yeah.
And this is actually have a profound impact on the personality. Right? People tend to be more
introverted.
Yeah, introverted, and they tend to not to kind of communicate, right? If you get in touch with like people from Korea and Japan, they kind of have this kind of characteristics where they're really good at works. They believe that's a pathway. If I work harder, I can solve the problem.
Yeah.
But when you come to Australia or US, right, or UK, you realize people are more active. When they have problems, instead of solving themselves, they like to communicate to solve it together. Yeah, talk about it, right? There's no right or wrong, but there's just different ways of doing things. And I would say my childhood is probably they fit me into environments of, focus on academics, like if we finish everything, get a score, make sure they pass all the courses before you go to the play,
Yeah.
And that kind of have impact on me. Yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm quite an academic person, but I'm not the only ones. I think a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you did your mom expect you to get 100%? Was there the kind of like, oh my gosh, why you get 99 out of 100? Or like, how high were those expectations?
Well, they expect you to be the best students. I guess that's.
So were you?
No, I was not.
Close, right?
No. I would say probably above average, but definitely not the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. And what about in terms of sports? Did many people play sports back then?
Do you consider chess as a sport?
Oh.
I think by sport you means like use your body sounds. Yeah. When I was young, I go jogging quite often. But you can tell now I'm not. Look at my shape.
Nah. It's fine.
And sometimes I play badminton. Back then, but now I completely forgot.
Yeah. Why don't Asian parents get you on the sporting extracurricular? You just somehow don't value it.
Yeah, there's not much, right? Did your parents get you to like?
Mom, she wished we did more sports when we were younger because then we'd be like more physically fit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. In terms of careers, what was sort of like floating through your mind in maybe like primary school, high school, / what were your parents' expectations? I remember you wanted to do like coding or something at one point in time, or engineering.
Well, I think I'm from I was educated in China.
Yeah.
And then before you get to uni, all the curriculum is a kind of standard.
Mm-hmm.
So they have literacy and is it literacy? Just like Chinese.
Oh yeah, it's just like English.
Yeah, English, right?
It's just like your language course.
Yeah, language course, right? We have English as well.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Mathematics, chemistry,
physics,
biology, history, geography, right?
Yeah.
And we also have like a politics curriculum as well. But you don't have an optional course like what mine here is, right? You can choose,
we choose
like programming or accounting,
yeah.
right? We don't have that. So I don't really know much, when I was in high school.
Yeah. Because you had little exposure.
And that's actually quite a pity. It's like for a lot of students who academics really well, right? My peers, right? But end up in jobs that's not ideal for them because they don't have a chance to try.
Yeah.
Right? They're academically excellent, but unfortunately, choose sometimes is probably more important than how much effort you put in.
Yeah.
Right? But
true.
unfortunately, they didn't really realize that. Yeah. Most of these students, they actually listen to their parent when they finish the college entrance exam, right? The parents or their teachers will tell them what occupations they can choose or what subject they studies, right? And the student themselves, they doesn't have a clue, most of them.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So for me, I was good at mathematics, so I was thinking to do programming.
Nice.
But my parents thinks that by then, 10 years ago, right, people don't see tech as he does now, right? They don't see tech as future. They just see that's the program work is very strenuous. You got to keep learning new stuff.
Yeah.
Right, but my parents want me to find a job that's easy, but not necessarily easy. Might be routine.
Yeah.
Right, but at least everyone everywhere can use it. Right, and have a little bit of mathematic elements in there. So I agree, and so I choose accounting. Wow. But the reality is, I end up following my natural
passions.
Yeah, and end up doing financial modelings, right? Financial modelling is a little bit like it's a mix of finance, accounting, mathematics, logics, right? There's some programming elements in it as well. Yeah. So I didn't end up in the ideal or the best fits, but over time, I think I still go back,
Yeah, that's
go
awesome.
back to my path.
I guess what you originally chose wasn't 100% aligned. It's more sort of like a compromise in between what your parents wanted or slash what your parents actually wanted. Yeah. And then you sort of found your way back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Also want to quickly talk about Gaokao. How was that? I've heard many horror stories. So how did you sort of survive? And for context, so Gaokao is like the kind of like, is it just year 12 exam sort of equivalent?
Yeah.
Just 1 year, right?
Yeah.
So 1 year where you just take, is it just like one exam to determine whether or not like what you can study at uni pretty much. So there's a lot of pressure on that one day. And then, people do crazy stuff to like optimize for that one day.
there's a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's not the governments or the countries that choose to do that. It's because in a lot of developing countries, they don't have enough resources.
That's true.
To really create different programs to fit different students, right? They have to create one standalone frameworks.
Yeah.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
But at least give you a chance.
Yeah.
For everyone to, have for one chance to demonstrate yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's like even in Hong Kong, it's like in India, so in like Japan as well, right? People, in order to get the opportunity, they tend to work really, really hard.
Yeah.
And in China especially, right? Like people can, I remember the times I worked like 6 days a week. I then like every day started 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock at night, and 7 o'clock at night, and probably takes another 1 or 2 hours to just take a rest. But
12-hour days.
Yeah, it's basically 12 hours a day. It starts from year 9, or when we get into senior high school.
Yeah.
Basically every day is like that. Just to prepare yourself for that day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite, it is a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's like, it changes like, there's like that saying, something like about, education changes your destiny in Chinese. And then Gaokao is pretty much that turning point.
Yeah, for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, and so when you were studying from grade 9 to grade 12, pulling those 12-hour days, like for like 6 days a week, pretty much.
Sorry, just to mention, only 12. The year 12, you have to work 6 days. Previously, like the first 2 years is fine, but you still have to work 12 hours basically.
Yeah, wow.
Like five days.
5 days.
5 days a week, 12 hours.
Yeah. So were you sort of like hating it, or were you sort of just like, oh yeah, I'm studying, this is fun, I enjoy it, or what was the sort of like your mood?
Well, at the beginning, of course I hate it, right? It's like, no one really liked to do that.
But also you've been sort of doing low-key that for for most of your life with all your extracurricular and all your tutorials, so it's sort of like, it's just like an extension of it.
But when I was young, I only do 2 hours curriculums, right? It's still manageable, right? Not like 12 hours.
Wow.
But you get used to it, right? This is just the human natures. Humans are quite adaptable. Right? It's like, even now, it's like for a lot of people who are working in investment banks, right? They could work 80 hours or 90 hours a week. Of course, they earn heaps of money. But if you ask them, do you hate your job? Right? Well, each job, right? Everything's to come with good and bad things.
Yeah.
The good thing is, you earn a lot of money. The bad thing is, you have to, bear that, like 12 hours a day, right? My friend's working investment banks. He doesn't even get 1 day off, right? For 2 weeks. When there's a deal online, right, you need to rush on the deadline. So, but the rewards is the salary is amazing. You you know, he probably earns like 2 or 3 times more money. So, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, with the effort, there is reward.
Yeah.
So what was so like when you started, so your life was pretty work-life balancey until grade 9. And then so when grade 9, you're like, oh shoot, I have to like study so much now. And then when did you sort of like adjust to it? Was it like 1 year later, you're like, oh yeah, you know, just another 12 hours?
It only takes you a month to get used to it. Trust me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so was this the standard for students to just study 12 hours a day, or was this something your tiger mom imposed?
No, you're expected to do that, but not everyone can actually do that. I mean, you can, just like work, right? There's a lot of people who work overtime, but do you really?
Yeah.
I doubt do they really, you know, work 12 hours, right?
How much is productive?
Yeah. So you can sit in front of your desk and do 9 hours of work, but you can still be more efficient, learn more than these spend 14 hours, right?
Yeah. So tell me about how efficient were you those 12-hour days?
It's really hard to measure that efficiency.
It's probably like a 9-hour efficiency, would you say?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but that's still pretty solid.
Yeah, 9 hours then.
Yeah, okay. And then tell me about the actual, like, could you sleep before Gaokao? How are the feels before Gaokao?
Yeah, it's very nervous. Because you've been like studying for about 12 years, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, by the times when I was 18, you start your school at 6, right? So 12 years. So it's like a decisive moment.
Yeah.
Just think about this, right? If you do the HSC, right?
Yeah.
Can only just in one go.
Yeah.
Right? That's how, you know, nervous it could be. But of course in China, like, you can also do again and again.
Yeah, oh my
right?
gosh, 1 year later.
But you only have, once
once
a
a
year.
year. And you have to go through that whole, like, 12 hours a day for 6 days. It's not pretty.
Yeah, for another year,
Yeah, and so how did you sort of, like, manage your own emotions and, like, sort of stay calm, like, throughout the process and the day before kind of thing?
I think the best thing is to always find the best way to manage your emotions is to think of backup plan.
That's pretty logical, right?
What if I fail the Gaokao?
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Right? Is there any other pathway? Right. That's like just like my works, right? Hey, if I fail this job, right? If I end up, you know, not being able to get promoted, then can I find another job outside, right?
Yeah.
The alternative can actually give you the really comfort, right?
Yeah.
And the more alternative you have, the more freedom, more choose you have, right?
Yeah.
The more comfortable you have.
Yeah.
So by then, I was thinking that, oh, okay, if I didn't succeed, then I probably do another year.
Yeah.
Right? Or I probably just take you know, by then, like, a lot of students who doesn't do really good can still go overseas to study at a foreign uni.
Yeah.
Yeah, there might be a pathway. By then, I was thinking.
Yeah, that's cool. And how confident were you?
Not very confident.
Really?
Yeah, the most confident one is probably do it again. Yeah, for another year. Yeah.
Wow. And so can we ask you what your grades were in Gaokao, if you remember?
It's a little bit like the HSC. They give you like how many, what's the percentage, right, in the population, is that?
Yeah.
Like, so I did probably 97%.
Wow, so you're top 3%.
Yeah, I was really lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Was that a score better than what you hoped for, or did you think maybe like, oh, I screwed up that question, I could have gotten a higher score?
I think it's just a reflection of my skill, but most of the people in my class didn't end up like didn't get the performance they deserve. If I look back, yeah. So I would say I'm fair, but probably not fair for students in my class, but not too far away. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're pretty happy? Were you like jumping up and down, like, Mom, top 3%, or was it just like, could have been more?
Before we take the exams, we do have 2 or 3 times mock exam, and
Yeah.
Before then I was around 95 to 93.
Yeah.
So getting a 97 is really high.
Yeah, it's higher than your mock exams.
But my mock exam I didn't do really well. My teacher told me I can probably get like 96, 97. Yeah, that will reflect me, and yeah, I'll just take it. Okay, it's the normal one.
Wow, but that is such a good outcome. 10 years too late, but congratulations.
Come on, I really forget it. But being said that, right? If you think about it, right? I'm getting 97, but I end up at studying accounting.
Yeah.
Right. Accounting is good. Don't get me wrong.
But you don't need
it
that
doesn't
high of a
acquire
score.
97. Yeah. You know. So your choice is very important as well.
Yeah.
Right. That's the strategy. Yeah. Sometimes the strategy is more important than your effort.
Yeah, because strategy is the direction that you're facing.
Yeah,
So if you turn around and you run really fast, but you're still going backwards, it's like you're undoing all your hard work.
Yeah.
Okay, also some fun stuff. So tell me, what's some of the craziest stuff you've heard that people do for Gaokao, / what have you personally done? I've heard some people, girls generally, they stop their periods for Gaokao.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
really?
No?
For what?
For the Gaokao, the day they want to make sure that they don't have their period. Otherwise,
but it's not going to change your IQs, right? Your intelligence, right?
Dude, the pain.
Oh, okay.
It's and also, stuff like that. But I don't know if you've heard anything
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know.
I was expecting something crazy back, no?
What did I do? No, actually, it's quite normal.
What?
Yeah. The day leading to Gaokao is quite normal. I didn't. 寄宿学校怎么说？
Is it selective school?
So, but 寄宿, you sleep at the school, you don't go back.
Oh, okay. So, you sleep at the dorms at the school?
Yeah. So everyone's in my school, they have to
sleep
in the dorms, right?
Yeah.
They don't go back to school. They only go back to home. They only do it once a month, probably once a week or once a month, something. The craziest thing I do is probably before Gaokao, I spend an entire month in school.
Yeah.
Previously, I would just go back every single week.
Yeah. Oh, not that crazy.
Not that crazy. Yeah. No, you don't want to. Sometimes if you prepare too much, right, you're actually making yourself too nervous.
Yeah, you're hyping it up too much, and then you can't function.
Yeah.
But I bet a lot of people would probably be like that.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I know that there are some parents. They in China they do soup, chicken soup.
Yeah.
Right, different sort of soup. Like before Gaokao, right? In that month, a lot of parents they just visit
stock
the
up on
school.
the nutrition.
Yeah. They give them the soup. I don't think my mom gave me any of that. Yeah, but I don't blame her.
Soup.
No, but I don't blame her. Actually, I think it's good because that you take it as a normal thing, right?
Yeah.
Instead of making yourself too nervous.
Yeah, that's true. Cool. And then so you chose accounting, and how was that experience? You probably went to a top school, huh?
One of the best, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you say the name for our viewers?
Jinan 大学.
Jinan 大学. And whereabouts is that located?
It's in Guangzhou.
Guangzhou. Oh, very nice.
Guangzhou is a small city near Hong Kong.
Yeah, that's cool. And how did you and your mum celebrate?
Just have a meal outside. Yeah.
Not the most expensive meal?
No, not the most expensive. She's actually quite happy because she doesn't have to look for foreign school for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to move to another country.
Yeah.
to study.
Sometimes it's not even celebrating the success. It's more like relief.
Exactly. Yeah, finally he ended up to be an accountant, right? Just the path I expect him to.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And how do you enjoy your accounting degree?
I still do. Well, in that 4 years is quite similar to when I was in high school, right? Because after 12 years, you kind of form a pattern to learn, but it's actually not very well for your development. But it's definitely good for fitting in that Asian cultures. I think even in Japan's and Koreans, right? It's like people just get out of school, they expect to to be a work machine, if I can use this word, right? How good you are, sometimes like it depends on how quick you do the stuff, right? And also academics are also very important parts, right? Probably even more important than your extracurriculum.
Yeah.
Right, at uni, yeah. So, I think I did pretty well, and I got the Chinese CPAs like 2 years after my graduation, yeah.
Yeah, and were you enjoying your degree? Were you like, oh yeah, man, I want to be an accountant?
Yeah, it's quite interesting occupation. Yeah.
That's cool.
There's an element of the business judgment. You have to understand the business, right? Otherwise, you're just doing bookkeeping. Accounting is just a different name for bookkeeping, right? There are people who do that. But if you understand the business, you can provide insights to the management. Like for me, when I was in uni, I don't build financial model, right? So I don't know. It's actually quite fun. To do that. Yeah. But I think the I like.
You like it? It's pretty good.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And also another question: how do you sort of avoid like burnout? Because a lot of the people I hear is like they study super hard for Gaokao, they get into the top university, and then they slack off because they're like, oh my gosh, I study so hard. But it seems like you just continued your work ethic.
You're two type of person, right? One is people force you to.
Yeah, it's me.
The other one is that. Yeah, not that. Right? The other one is that like you adopt to it. Like I think I'm just adopted and get used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. But didn't you ever so during uni, did you sort of join a lot of extracurricular activity now with the sort of quotes newfound freedom, but not exactly because competitive schools are also, have a really harsh curriculum. But did you sort of I want to try something else now, or I want to branch out other than academics?
In uni?
Yeah.
I did try some events, like join the student unions. And to take part in different events. That's basically what you do when you're in uni.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. And then talk to me, so when you graduated, what happened? Did you get another job, or when did you come to Australia? When did you do your masters? What's this timeline?
Yeah, so before I get to school, I get an offer from EY.
Nice.
Yeah, and then, but I still go interviews, and then I get a job from PwC as a management consultant.
So you got two offers, EY and PwC?
Yeah. EY is audit position, and PwC is a management consulting position. And management consulting is actually quite different from a traditional pathway, right? For most of the accounting students, they end up being auditors or an accountant. But it's only very few can end up being a consultant.
Yeah.
So when I get the offer, I ask a lot of people, and the reason why I decided to be a consultant is because I believe I form into a pattern. That pattern is the environment that forced me to keep on working hard, being academically well, but you actually lose the big picture. Right? I have some friends who didn't get to really well in Gaokao.
Yeah.
They didn't get into uni, but they start their own business early. Yeah. And then they actually end up, by the time when I graduate, they actually already have their own restaurants and thinking about to start up the next one.
Yeah.
And by that time I was thinking, is it, am I fell into a trap?
Yeah.
But this is not a trap that anyone who set it up for me. It's me created by myself, to myself, right?
Yeah.
If I keep doing something that's good, I'm actually fail strategically. Because the ultimate goal for me is just earn money, right? For everyone's, right?
Yeah.
We want to earn as much as we can.
Yeah.
And also have a leisure life, right? I don't have to work 40 hours a week, right? But if I keep doing when I was told, Paul, you do accounting wells, right? You probably will end up just doing accountant forever.
Yeah.
While there are people who's not accountant, who is not academically good,
Yeah.
but why they earn more money,
Yeah.
right? Because they don't have a choice,
Yeah.
right? They can't go into uni, so they're forced to do something else.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, hey, now I have a choice. If I can choose an occupation that's different from accountant,
Yeah.
what will it look like?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I started management consultant for 2 years. From there, I do a lot of budget projects, like building budget templates for different clients, and also some investment projects as well. And it's from there where I learned modeling skill.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, right, on one day when I was in PwC, right, I worked probably 50 hours. Sometimes I have to work like half day over the weekend. And there was a time I feel so frustrated. And I actually end up looking on the internet, like which country gives the lowest, like the highest minimum wages.
Yeah.
And I find Australia. Right? And then I do a calc, right? I do a calc on, by then I remember it's still $18, $17 something.
Yeah.
So I multiply the dollar by the number of hours I work. It is actually higher than when I was a senior consultant in PwC. And in front of you, I suddenly find a different path again, right? So I can keep doing management consultants. I actually fast track. I only worked like 1 year in an analyst level, and people think I do pretty well. So just fast track to my senior, like to a senior con. But I still asking myself the same question: did I fail by my own success?
Yeah.
It's still a trap that I set it up for myself. And if I look at the other options, what option I can have?
Yeah.
And the answer is, maybe you should go to another country to try.
Yeah. And what did you sort of hope from another country? It's like more money, but what else?
English is not my strength by then. My English is really bad. It's like amongst all those, like in Gaokaos, right? You have different
English lowest score.
English, is actually the lowest one. So by then, I didn't form the will of I have to move to Australia as an immigrant then. But I believe if I can speak English, I probably will end up with more like a foreign opportunity. Like 10 years ago, there's a lot of overseas investments if you want to expand the business in China. Right? So it's with that thinking I came to Australia.
Yeah. And then also, so pretty much it was like that moment of frustration where you started looking outside to see what else was out there. Was it purely just for the money, or was it something you wanted to sort of develop some other aspect of you?
It's for money. That's for, if you think about it, right, you have to work 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
But your salary is still lower than the minimum wages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what's the point of keep working on it?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right? It's exactly the same reasons that convince myself why not to choose to be, a bookkeeper or accountant, because I see a pathway 10 years down the track.
Yeah.
Like before I take up that offers, I actually see compare this to occupation 10 years down the track. Which one's the salary is higher?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Very honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But money is not. I think it's important, but it's probably not the goal for everyone, right?
Yeah.
There are people who enjoy doing because management consultants you deal with many different clients, many different awkward situations.
Yeah.
And there's areas that you don't really know, right? But there are people who prefer work-life balance, or you might work a little bit more over the weekend or something on month ends, right? Accountant is like that, right? Each month, at the start or at the end, right? Because of month ends, they have to do extra works. But in the middle of the month, their work is actually quite reasonable. Yeah. And just like my mom said, accountants are needed everywhere.
Yeah,
it's not
every business.
Yeah. It's not an occupation that can see that it's gonna disappear someday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the trade-off, right? You can choose high risk like high return,
Yeah.
but you can also choose a low risk, steady income,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, 99% of Asians lean towards
Yeah,
the steady.
yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. So at PwC China, you sort of learnt a little bit about financial modeling, and then you came to Australia. And then what happened? Did you sort of continue the financial modeling route? Or?
Yeah. So I studied here for 2 years.
Nice.
Get a working visa.
Nice.
And then I found the KPMG open position for financial modeler. And then I applied for that role.
Yeah, that's cool. And how hard was it to sort of apply for a job after graduation as an international student?
It's an experience how they really look at people who know how to build a model.
Yeah.
So I would say I really have this skill set. I had 3 rounds of interview. Wasn't very hard to me.
Wow.
Because I have the skills they need.
Yeah.
If you just graduate as it's like like journalists, like just the same as your peers in your class. It's very hard. Yeah. Because what attracts the employer to choose you, especially international students, right? They have to spend time to train you up, but after a certain time, you might go, right? Yeah. So it's like a natural instance from the employers to choose, but it also is right to give opportunity to local people.
Yeah.
Right. Then to consider like international students.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me, how did you become like so good at what you're doing? That financial modeling got you into KPMG fresh out of graduation. So how does one become financial modeling god?
No, I'm not a financial modeling god. I'm just someone who's
close enough.
I'm just okay at like
but
using
how do you
Excel.
I guess like you probably have like a very strong, is it sort of like self-study kind of? You just Google everything. Is that how it works? Do you watch videos or do you play around? What is your
you know what's the best way of learning?
What?
To exercise.
Exercise.
Yeah. So when I was in high schools, right?
Yeah.
Unlike most of the students in my class, I don't listen to a teacher. I just read the books and I started to do exercise.
Yeah.
Right? Like for Excel is the same, right?
Yeah.
The tool I use is Excel to build financial model.
Yeah.
I just do as much. I just look at like in our team. There's a lot of model reviews. I look at other people's review, other people's model, and I rebuild it myself. Yeah. The more you do, the better you will get. Yeah. That's how you train up.
Repetition.
Yeah. If you keep doing it, like if you spend like 10,000 hours right, on some things, right?
Yeah.
You will get there, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's a matter of exercise.
Yeah.
Practice makes perfect, right?
Well, I love the cliches. They're all true.
Yeah.
And so, does that mean you're also spending like 24 hours thinking about the financial modeling?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
How can you sleep?
No. But like, because I know like some people, they say like, if you're trying to crack something or you're trying to be good at it, like they think about it constantly all the time, like during their downtime. Was that something?
There was 1 or 2 occasions that I end up like that.
Yeah. Okay, but not that intense, I guess.
But there's actually a different way of building a model, and sometimes it doesn't require you to really put it in Excel or use a tool to do it. How about manage your client? How about telling him? How about like for models, right? The most important part is probably you have to do it anyways, right? But there are parts that's not so important that you can actually spend less time on. What about manage your client?
Yeah.
To let them realize, you probably spend 80 hours to build something that doesn't make a difference. Then what's the point of doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't trap yourself, right?
Yeah.
A lot of like modelers I've seen, right? They're really good at skills. So I keep talking about how good they are, right? How good the models that they get built. But the problem is, sometimes your client doesn't really need it.
Yeah.
Right? As long as the model works, fits for purpose, that's fine.
Yeah, that's true. I guess sometimes you can really get lost in the craft
Yeah.
and forget like it's actually just a tool at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as I address the issue, that's fine.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, tell me, what do you love about financial modeling?
you can see different peoples and different, like also the people's like in different industries, they kind of addressing different issues.
Yeah, but using sort of the same
Like,
tool.
yeah, the tool is the same. Like, just like Python, right? The programming language, right?
Yeah. Why didn't you fall in love with Python? Why you fall in love with Excel?
It's look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what tools I use. At the start, I think I need to learn Python, need to learn like other programming language, right? But later I realized there are always people that can be better than you.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And like KPMGs, right? Does the partner know everything? No, right?
They've probably forgotten everything by now.
They just hire someone, right? Like someone who's really good at this area to do the job, right?
Yeah.
Right. And why Excel, right? At the beginning, it's a tool that I have to use to finish my work. Like most of the people use Excel. Yeah. If you give them a Python like program, they don't know how to use it, and they don't have that transparency, how you link different inputs and assumptions together. Right? Yeah. So it's just a tool naturally, but later on I realized the tool is the tool. Right. The most important is whether you can address the client's issues, like like in energy sectors, right? Yeah. Like solar and winds, right? People are talking about we have too much renewables in the grid now, right? So when a new investor comes in, this is the market intelligence that you should address, right? You can tell them, but of course, right? The government is looking at the further transition into the greener economy, right? So there are opportunity as well. Is this like those are the intelligence that the clients really like, that they want to absorb, instead of a model that looks nice. Yeah. Yeah. I think the same to you as well, right? So at the beginning of your career, you definitely need to learn the tool. Yeah. Right. But over time, when you move to like managers or more strategic levels, you realize, hey, it's the issues that the client concerns that I want to address, and this issue is not subject to any tool. Yeah. There's no tool can you to solve this issue, right? Yeah. Oh, that's pretty smart. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. Yeah. And so also, tell me more about like what do you do as a manager, in the IAP team, and financial modeling. Yeah. What's a day in the life of Paul Li? IAP is infrastructure, assets, and places. So it's business units in KPMG to address infrastructure projects. And I think big priority project as well. So my day-to-day life is to most of the time to talk to the clients, address their concern, the issues, and sometimes I build model myself. Sometimes I hand it over to my team. Sometimes I will do new proposal, to bid new project. That's the life.
That's the rest of it. Yeah. Good life. Nice. So, what kind of skill set do you need to do a job, and maybe like what kind of person do you think would be suitable for a job?
Depends on what positions, right? Yeah. So if you're a partner, sales is very important.
That's true.
If you're an analyst, right, sales is probably not your most important thing to do. You can still touch it. Oh, okay. But it's not your, you immediately, it's not in your KPI. You don't have to like sell, like bring like 3 million revenue to the company. Right? Yeah. So it really depends on what's the expectation of this role and what kind of skill sets they can bring, right? So for I would say it's like for analysts or senior analysts, the skill set is probably to use the tool good, right? So when I give you a task, give you all the like in financial models, right? If I give you all the input, if you can build it, I would say that's enough. Right? Yeah. But over time, when you become the managers or senior managers, right? You need to decide what input you need. Yeah. Right. When you talk to the client, right? The client doesn't know financial model. They don't know what inputs are. Yeah. Right. So you need to translate these, right, from in commercial language, right?
Yes.
because you build so many models before, you know that okay, for energy sectors, the inputs I need probably is energy generations, electricity price, right? But you don't tell the client this way. Hey, give me a monthly energy report, right? Give me a like a price report, right? Give me an MOF report, right? You're gonna drive the client mad. You probably will you say them in different ways, but still getting the same language. But most importantly, you're gonna address what the client concern. They invest in a solar farm, they want a return, right? When they give you the input, when you look at it, you can tell it's like which input am too high, which input am too low, right? Which this also applies to other sectors as well, right? You work in these sectors, you know the deals, you know whether this is a good deal or not. You can actually talk to the client about whether something looks within range or a little bit not usual, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And going back to the questions, like what about for people who use more high levels, like at directors or partner levels, right? They pretty much do similar stuff, but instead of having a known client to kind of interpret their needs into the actual modeling, they tend to reach out to new clients or existing clients to see if there are new opportunity. Yeah. A little bit like a sales role.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Didn't think of it that way. Yeah, it's kind of like the analyst. They just do kind of like the grunt work. They just build the model, and then the manager is sort of like in between the client and the analyst, where they act as sort of the bridge, the translator, and they translate the client needs into something that they can do. And then partner is an extension where you find more business and you bring them in.
And do you realize that actually things that your tasks they're giving you is actually becomes less and less structure, less and less black and white, right?
That's true. More intangibles.
So when you're analyst, right, your manager will give you probably all the details what to do, right? You probably can feel the micromanagement, right? But when you're moving up, you realize sometimes the clients say something. There's so many different ways to address it, right? So many different ways to actually solve this issue, right? Going back to that questions, right? Do I spend 24 hours to think a model? Personally, yes. But now I actually think of, is there other way to convince the client, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, looking outside of the tool by looking into like the other external world.
It's the thinking patterns that will change over time. And for me, it's like personally, I think that I wish everyone joined my team would be perfect in modeling. Right. But now I'm thinking, as long as you can address the client issues, right? Modeling can be a tool, and sometimes modeling don't have to be a tool. Right. It's just a mean to an end.
Modeling isn't everything.
Isn't everything.
That's cool. Also, just wondering, do you have any people that you admire, look up to, / strong influences in your life? If not, all good.
So any people I admire?
That have like a sort of a big impact on you. And you're like, oh, dang it, I want to be just like...
in terms of people, I don't, but have you watched the movie Matrix?
Yeah,
Matrix 1 to 3, right? I would say the movie actually changed my mindset. Because the movie is about like people that are living in like a machines, right, a virtual environments, right? So they ask you to think out of the box because it's a matrix, right? And it's actually, I would say, it's a pretty good analogy of our world. We all live in a matrix. It's not a computer world, but when you were young, like when I was young, right, I live in China, where people think as long as you study hard, like academically perfect, you will end up in a really good job. In reality, it's probably not. I have friends who not good students, but still end up, being business owner. That's the matrix that you have, like people around you to try to fit you into. It's not they do it intentionally. But you got to and sometimes right they're trying to help you. That's the environment, that's the society. But you have to always keep, telling yourself, like, is there a different pathway? is this world real?
Yeah,
Right? Is this the
true.
only pathway? Right?
Yeah.
That's the message of Matrix, right?
Yeah, it's almost like just challenging societal expectations.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
Don't get trapped into a matrix. Right?
Yeah.
Think out of the box.
Yeah, don't follow that sort of yellow brick road laid down in front of you.
Especially when I first moved to Australia, then now it's the 7th year. Over time, I realized there's so different. Like culturally or like social standards or the values that or even the thinking patterns of people, and you realize, hey, why mix Chinese, Japanese, Korean so different from American, UK, like Englishmen, right? And Australians, right? These environments that they grow up with, they grow up in, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely so interesting to compare and contrast. Yeah. Also, we're nearly at the end of the podcast, so just a few more questions. So the deep one. What do you think the meaning of life is, Paul, for you?
Meaning of life. I would say I'm always have this curiosity about the truth. Right? And it's a really broad concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really want to dig out the truth of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, for example, when people's
it's sort of like getting to the bottom of something. If
someone
says like, oh, okay, the sky is blue, and you're like, oh, really? And then you peel back the colors, peel back the layers, and get probably as close to the truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's like curiosity, sort of like exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you would really suit the research pathway.
However, I didn't end up that.
You can have multiple lives in one, and I'm pretty sure your industry experience would be good for that.
If I can have a second life, I wish I could be a scientist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's cool. And so, Paul, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do differently about your life?
I don't know. I have more time.
Yeah.
I have more time, but I can't really tell how that would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now. Like we work because we need to make livings, right?
Yeah.
But when you don't have to work, what are you going to do? You're basically asking me this question.
Yeah.
Probably to help people that really need help. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like a lot of people would say that, just like, don't work for money, just work for social good kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And so what is your ideal perfect day in the life? It can be work related, it can be not work related. Like, what time do you wake up? What do you do?
Wake up at 8 o'clock.
Nice, solid.
Yeah, and there's no proposal deadline
today. That's good.
Just chill, go to the office.
Yeah.
Greet with people. Yeah, and get back home at 6 something.
Yeah.
5 or 6. Yeah. That's it.
That's pretty good. It sounds like every day.
No, not really. Not really, because I work in advisory. Like, there's a lot of deals that, 2 weeks away, I have a deal closed.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you have to rush.
Yeah.
For that, yeah. So this week I can ease up a bit, but not next week. Yeah.
Well, all the best for next week.
Sorry?
All the best for next week.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, all the best to you.
We're pretty much at the end. One way.
Thank you.
Bye.